Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I'm Nev from Nev's Tech Bits. Break out the fancy silverware. It's a time to celebrate, a great time to behold. I got a new phone. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I finally stepped up to the LG G7 thing Q. Have the LG G3, have the LG G6, and the LG G7 is now 2 years old. But it's new to me. It's new to me, and I'm blown away because I managed to get it used off eBay. And it actually comes with the original box. I mean, how does that happen? How do these phones come back to a retailer? Because it was definitely used. You can see we had the box that I put back upside down. And you can see it appears to be the original box, the original charger, all of that stuff. I'm really pumped up about that. But let's see how well it performs today, because of course it is 2 years old, and that's not a very old phone for a lot of people. But for other people, it really is, and it has a smaller battery than these other two. So what I want to do is bring them up against each other, and since older phones have a battery charge that's less, the battery doesn't recover so well, it doesn't recover 100%. I'm going to put a movie on and do a video test on these units to see which one lasts the longest with the best battery. Anyways, just getting into this thing. Let's get right into it. Okay, G7, then Q. I don't have a case for it. I don't have the screen protector, but she's a beautiful ass. It definitely picks up a lot of dust and stuff like that, but I still think it's so cool. This is glass, of course. That's metal, and then more glass, Gorilla Glass. I don't have a real screen protector, so I just left the unit on that it came with. And oh, look at that background. I love that background. It seems so very Android about 10 years ago now. Anyway, so yeah, of course, it comes with this quick start guide, and it comes with, I do believe that this is the original charger for a fast charger. I do believe that this is an official fast charger. I almost believe this is an official LG. Nah, maybe not, but it's just like, wow, it feels like I got everything this thing originally came with, which is nice, my guys, unless they manage to package it all up and make it look new. Either way, very cool. I'm really happy with that. So let's get into this. This is a little taller than the LG G6 and the LG G3. And right here we have a direct side-by-side comparison. This one seems to be a little bit more stout. But yeah, first off, let's get right into the video test. Of course, we need to use the greatest film in cinema history to test this, The Room. I definitely recommend you check it out. Oh, hi, Mark. So yeah, to test the battery out, what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be letting this thing play for a set amount of time, and then I will see what the battery is like at the end of it, and it'll show us how well these things hold up, because on all these units, they have all been like the flagship, my user phone. Actually, my wife used this one until she dropped it. And then this is the LG G7, the one that I just got. LG G6, and that used to be my main phone. The LG G7 will be my new main phone. And yeah, let's just play it and see. Underwear. I get the picture. Okay, so we're about 35 minutes in. Let's take a tally. Okay, so this is actually pretty interesting. LG G3 is at 76%, G7 is at 83%, and the G6 is at 82%. So these two are ultimately about the same battery, and I'm just amazed that we can get away with this. I'm really amazed that we can get away with that little amount of battery used over 35 minutes. That's pretty good. I expected a bigger difference between these two, that's for sure. Okay, so this is interesting. LG G3, 64%, can outperform 64% of phones in this test. The G7, 93%, and the G6 is at 86%. So let's go over to the benchmark and run the generic benchmark. Oh yeah, I get something else to download. Okay, let's run the benchmark. I wonder, why not just include that in the initial download? Why make me download something else? Interestingly enough, it tells you the internet speeds. I'm getting about 1 megabyte, 2 megabytes, 2.1 megabytes. So yeah, you definitely see the generational difference. Okay, it's one of them newfangled 3D test things, I guess. Just a little bit laggy over here. The other two ain't doing quite so bad. Yeah, you can definitely see the speed difference between the three. This one's still the newest one. LG G3. Oh, it's hanging in there just barely. Over here we get slower, choppier. Then over here, it looks like it's how it's supposed to be, I suppose. Interesting scores. So LG G3, of course, got the lowest. It almost, well, with so much feature difference, I would have expected more of a difference between the 3 and the 6. But the 6 and the 7 are almost twice as fast. That is interesting. That is interesting. After that benchmark, battery life is at 64, 73, and 72. Geez, the battery are almost the exact same thing on these units. And this unit's supposed to be at least another year older. It's interesting. Okay, so here's the camera test for the LG G3. One interesting thing that I noticed was as soon as I start tapping my feet, tap your feet, Zoe. You can see it really messes with the picture, and I got this thing on a standard tripod, standard consumer grade tripod. That was the dog just jumping up on the deck. So yeah, interesting vibration sensors. So let's move on to the LG G6. Okay, so here we have the LG G6. The colors definitely look more vibrant. I'm tapping my foot. So tap your feet. Okay, that does it. But the minor taps don't seem to affect it as much as the last one did. Okay, so that's what the colors are like. Looking pretty good. Now let's switch on over to the other camera. Of course, we got the other camera, the fisheye lens. Oh, you can see all of my excellent toys scattered through the yard too. Good stuff, good stuff. Anyways, yeah, looking good. Let's move on to the LG G7. Alright, so here we have the LG G7. I have this in the exact same place. This tripod has not moved, but as you can see, my viewing frame has come down. That'll be due to the aperture lens. I should say on the last one, there was a different camera on the fisheye lens than there was on the standard. However, on this unit, both cameras are exactly the same, just with a different lens. So here we have standard. And here we have fisheye. Come on, fisheye. Oh, it won't let me switch to it. There we go. And there's the fisheye. Whoop! And there's the puppy dog. Yeah, tap your feet, Zoe. Tap your feet. That definitely, oh, not that much, but thank you. Please stop. And that's the camera test.
Bobby, I'm down, Matt. I'm taking a video on Daddy going to take. Here.
Now to wrap things up, let's take a look at the GSM arena. We can compare the units one per one. G3, G6, and G7. We got the network technology at the top. Really not a lot anybody cares about. Launch date 2014, 2017, 2018. So yeah, it looks like they bring one out. A new one out every year. Platform upgradable to 6.0, 9.0, Android 10. Upgradable to Android 10. Oh, I think I'm still stuck at 8.0. I gotta look into that. Memory card. This one can take up to dedicated slot. Yeah, it's interesting. You get some units that they get different size of memories, and they also have different size of RAM. But it's the camera that I'm interested in. It's the camera, 13 megapixels, 13 megapixels, 16 megapixels. That's what I'm talking about. And the frames per second have a lot to do with it, especially when it comes to the selfie cam. 4K 30 frames per second. This thing can do 4K at 60 frames per second, which is basically the reason that I bought it. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's it from me, Nev from Nev's Tech Bits. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe if you like this stuff. Always appreciate it. And as always, folks, take care of each other.